we moved into a new house a few months ago. As we were in the process of purchasing the new house, the renter who was living in it died unexpectedly of natural causes in his mid 40s. He died right in the middle of the living room. Shortly after, we moved into the new house, and almost immediately, our 2-year-old daughter starts talking about the ghost that lives in our house. Now let's be real here. She's 2 and 2-year-olds are very impressionable. Halloween had just recently passed and she had this Halloween themed picture book that she loved to read. So it's entirely possible that all this ghost talk was just coming from looking through the book on a regular basis. Still, she was always telling me that the ghost was playing in a playhouse in the basement, or that the ghost was on the stairs, or that the ghost was standing in the corner. She never seemed to be afraid of ghosts and considered him to be her friend, so I wasn't all that concerned even if there was really a ghost haunting our house. If he's a nice and a helpful ghost, it could certainly be a lot worse. I would often tell the ghost that he was welcome to stay if he wanted to, but he was also welcome to go if that would make him happier. I was 30-70 on the ghost being real, and she could see and talk to him versus the ghost being just an imagination fueled by a Halloween book until one day when we were going out to the car to go to daycare in the morning. It was still dark out and rainy. My daughter told me that the ghost was on the back deck. She told me that today was the ghost's birthday and she wanted to sing him happy birthday. Once again, I mostly disregarded what she was saying as she is birthday obsessed and as in the past made us sing happy birthday to Mickey Mouse, a bowl of fruit snacks and the bathroom. So we sang and wished the ghost a happy birthday and went on with our lives. Later that day, out of pure curiosity, I looked up the obituary of the man who had died in our house. And wouldn't you know it, it was his fucking birthday. So there's this old bridge in my town that's supposedly haunted by a young girl who drowned in the river beneath it. Apparently, if you came at the right time, you could hear her scream. When me and my buddies were in high school, we had nothing better to do than to go ghost hunting. Being from a town of 6,000 people in good old southern Illinois, half of that being prison inmates and mental health patients, you have to get a bit creative to have any sort of fun. Anyway, we get to this bridge at about 3 am and we sit there for a while, nothing. About 20 minutes go by and we were all skeptical. Everyone's joking about how dumb this was or trying to creep each other out. All of a sudden, screaming. The most blood-curdling, high-pitched screaming we have ever heard. It wasn't just one screaming there. It never stopped. It kept going as if we were driving away in our cars. But that's not even the worst part. Me and one of my buddies hightailed it back to the cars as soon as we heard the initial scream because you had to walk a bit downhill to get underneath the bridge. Halfway back, we both go from sprinting to a dead stop at the exact same moment. I never asked him what he saw because I saw it for myself. It was a girl running on all fours in the woods. I don't talk about this much because it gives me chills just thinking about it and nobody ever takes me seriously. This is my go-to scary story that happened to me. When I was about 10 to 11 years old, I stayed up sort of late. When I got to bed, I was still feeling restless. I pulled off all my blankets around me and tugged myself against the wall. I was in bed, awake for about an hour, when I started hearing a rather unsettling noise. Muffled crying, I focused on it, hoping it was my imagination or I was asleep. After a few minutes, I needed to see what it was. I turned around in bed to see a woman in a dress standing at the far end side of my room, crying into her hands. Her hair was matted and her clothes tattered. She was about 7 or 8 feet tall, crammed under the ceiling. After a few seconds, she looks at me and screams, but it sounded like it was coming from far away. She made eye contact with me, turned around and walked through the wall. I stayed awake all night. I live in the north of Switzerland. We have a lot of old military bunkers from the Second World War. When I was 7 to 8 years old, 3 friends of mine and I went out to explore one of these bunkers, who was built on a hill inside a small forest. The main door was jammed, so we had to break it up. We found a big log nearby and used it as a battering ram. After many tries, the door won't budge. But there was a peephole. It was about 10 centimeter in diameter. We opened it and illuminated the dark inside. There was a long, ruined and dark hallway with rooms on the left and right hand side. We couldn't see the end of the hallway, it was just too long. Every one of us wanted to catch a glimpse of the inside when one of my friends says, "There's a small light at the end of the hallway." This light was not there when I watched through the peephole, so I pushed him away and took a second look. What I saw gave me a shiver. There was not a small light. It looked more like a flashlight pointed directly towards me, and behind it was a silhouette of a person. I walked a few steps back and said, "There's someone in there." At the same moment, someone or something knocked on the door from the inside of the bunker. This was the moment we got into panic, started screaming, and ran away. I was so scared, I ran straight home and locked the door. On the next day in school, my friends and I talked about the event. We came to the explanation that probably some older kids have played a prank on us. 1 week later, we went to the same bunker again. But as we saw, the welded connection that should keep the door locked were rusty and not broken. We just left without saying a word to each other. It was impossible someone opened this door before us, and this was the only entrance. I still live in the same region. Standing in front of this door again was not very comfortable. The story happened 20 years ago, but it still looks the same. Before my girlfriend and I moved in together, my girlfriend lived alone in the house she owned. During the course of us dating and me spending the night, she finally explained some of the weird stuff going on in her room. Weird banging sounds happening at all hours. Other weird sounds. Seeing things from the corner of your eye. There were even a couple of times where she saw something walking around the house. She described it being a robed figure almost like a grim reaper. There was also the feeling that something was watching you from behind. You know, the same feeling that causes the hairs on the back of your neck to stand on end. But the worst was this constant foreboding feeling coming from one of the unused bedrooms. These happenings scared her so much, simply explaining it caused her to start crying. Now, I'm a skeptic about these things. I'm that guy that would watch all those paranormal shows and find the logical reasoning for these happenings. Since we were just dating at that time and I really liked her, I wanted to impress her. I wanted to show her that my bravado and my lack of fear of the thing in the room. "Get the fuck out of this house, you fucking asshole," I yelled into the room. "Do not bother her again. You hear me? Or you'll have to deal with me. You don't want to fuck with me." Big mistake. Really big mistake. I spent that night at my girlfriend's. Sometime in the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up to a night terror. I had them a couple of times before. I didn't experience anything crazy, well, maybe once before this time. But this instance felt intentional. It felt like I had poked a bear and it wanted to show me that I didn't want to be fucked with. I woke up to being paralyzed, heart throbbing, being able to see and hear what was around you. I could feel my girlfriend lying down next to me and I could hear her breathing. This wasn't the scary part though. The scariest part was hearing. Yes, hearing. Something ran out of the room and down the stairs away from me and towards the unused bedroom. I could hear it make its way through the house. It's a small house, but whatever. I desperately tried to get out of this night terror. I tried telling myself it was a dream. I tried praying. I desperately tried to call out my girlfriend's name. I knew it was night terror, but even still couldn't get out of it. Every time before I could get out of a night terror by reminding myself what it was. She had somehow heard my whispered calls and woke me up. I did not go back to sleep that night.